Yeah, hi everyone. Yeah, I completely agree. This is probably my favorite track out of all of them. And it's one of those tracks that I didn't have much experience beforehand for racing on iRacing, but it just somehow clicked well with me, and it's been a great track for me. Yes, I think the only one that I missed was the previous event, but even after switching over to single class GT3 races, the racing has been fairly good, and I think in some ways even better when you don't have the mixed class kind of shuffling their back. That's a good question. Usually we see these guys driving the Kias, and well, I'm interested to see how Lee Deemer does with the GT3s because he used to drive the LMP1 before we dropped it out. And I think Anwar Smith, he's usually pretty fast, but if I remember correctly, in Kia he tends to run it terrible. So we'll see. Maybe this GT3 is more to his style. I think that's how it's been in most of the races so far. It seems to be hugely popular car. Personally, I prefer maybe the Audi and even McLaren, but I think overall Mercedes might be the best car currently with this BOP. Let Yes, and currently I don't think we've got an official confirmation on the championship points. At least I cannot see the updated standings since we changed to GT3s. So we'll have to wait and see and what happens with the showdown because there's been many new drivers. Some drivers have left, but plenty of new drivers have come in. So how does that work out with the points? Did the season reset? I would assume so. Looking at the practice times, I think Anthony Jacobson, he was much faster in practice if I remember correctly, but he's only starting 13, so maybe he didn't quite get the qualify lap he needed, as we are 40 seconds away from the green flags. Side by side, that's not a good idea here. It seems like Lee backs it out. Yes, most definitely. Oh, and Jacobson around. Yes, good start of the line, and was not really having to defend or anything, because Lee Deemer really did the battles for him. And has opened a nice 2.2 second gap already over Michael Gray. And another driver, well, there's two drivers who have made the 3 position, that is David Ayres and Michael Barry. But really the biggest loser so far was Anwar Smith. He has retired to the pits and might be in for some repairs here. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, meanwhile, just take a look at what happened to Smith. And yeah, that's just a tap on the rear. And that is Anwar around. I don't think that kind of small incident would have caused any damage, so we'll see what happened with that. Yeah, that's pretty surprising, because I wasn't expecting Ruff to be able to really hang on to this Mercedes with his BMW, which is known for its much lower straight line speed compared to the Mercedes. Although he does have the advantage in slow corners, and perhaps with a better corner exits he can make up for the lack of outright speed. I think he just closed up too early, and he had to let off and just lost the momentum there. So maybe with a better timing, we'll see what happens after a Rouge here. And who's that ahead of him? Yes, we have battle for a second. Well, neither of them really got a great exit out turn 1. Michael Gray, he ran too deep and locked up the fronts, and it seemed like Lee Dieterman just couldn't get the power down. But yeah, it seems like yeah, that's 5 tenths between them, so hard to say really. No, he just wasn't able to carry enough speed for the King and lost 2 tenths there. What has happened at the front? We have changed for the second place. And that might be slowdown. Yeah, that was a huge cut over the curves. Yeah, you only need to get the line slightly wrong, and it's so easy to get the slowdown. And it's also one of those corners that you don't really want to take it safe and lift, because then you're open for attack from the competitors behind you. You just lose so much time. Lee Dimmer seems to be closing slightly. No, sorry. Chris really put the hammer down on the previous lap. The second faster, yeah. But the battle for second and podium seems to be pretty even. Michael Gray is falling back slightly, but Richard Warrington is catching up. Yeah, sorry about that. I got a little bit distracted. It seems like there was it is Chris Danes and not Chris Ains. So now we got the name correctly on the overlay as well. Possibly here. Yeah, let's see what's happened. On board with the lead Eamer. Oh, first switch gets wide and then tries to keep the foot down while on the grass, and that's never really a good idea. Oh, what happened to Luke Clark? Yes. Yeah, that's unusual because at that point you used to have plenty of grip, but maybe he just have very aggressive air balance there and just not enough rear downforce. Just take a look at where Connor have passed Clark. Not here. Let's see. It might have been turn 1. Yeah, Cullen didn't get a good run, and Connor just was able to get the inside line in turn 1 there. It might be that he's just not feeling confident with his tires, so maybe I noticed he was also braking very early in the last chicane, so maybe he has overheated tires and he's just not confident enough to really follow through those fast sweepers. Yes, Warringham was 3 times faster on the previous lap, and their overall pace seems to be about the same. Warringham's fast lap is only 10 faster than Gray's, but he seems to be able to hold on to that pace much longer. And in fact, Richard's previous lap was his personal best, or race faster for him. And what do we have here? This battle between McBride and Rob Hartley. It seems they have spot places. I think so, or he was following someone. And I hear someone going off. That is Lane O'Connor. Pretty much really what happened with Lee Teamer. Just lost control there and should have maybe lifted off slightly, because you just have no grip at all. Three and a half minutes. That's when we get the clock counts to 0, and then we'll wait for the leader to cross the finish line. Yeah, currently he seems to just be hanging back there and maybe just waiting for a good opportunity to make the pass. Because, okay, that is the podium position and you don't really want to take an unnecessary risk. Especially considering we've seen guys spinning out here on the final part of the circuit. No, I don't think so, because it is Rob Hartley who is incredibly fast right now. That's the fast lap of the race for Hartley. Yeah, 2 minute 14.6. Yeah, that was just clean drive from Chris Danes, but I really have to bring up Rob Hartley. He just sneaked through the field. We didn't even notice it, but he has claimed 10 positions during this race. That's not as easy feat, especially with these cars, and considering how difficult we saw the overtaking to be in some cases. Yes, I believe so. We can go with the results. Yes, we do. We do have a small reverse grid wheel for this one. So I think it's time for us to see where we land. Wheel is on your screen and let's spin it. And it might be full -1, so that is almost full reverse. I believe it might be one lap down. One lap down might be the limit. I don't exactly remember it.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
No, that was Danny Henny with the Ferrari. David Ayres, the red Mercedes, did not have race allowed. That's a David Ayres and Clark, I believe. No, that's Hartley and Ayres, yes. Yes, Hartley was the fastest driver in the previous race, and now he's much closer to the front, so I think we might be seeing here a good battle for the lead. Yeah, cleans up small issues for Jim playing at right, but other than that, no major issues. And here we go, this might be Rob Hartley looking for a way past Adam Jacobson. That's Lane O'Connor, I believe. Oh, and who's that around in turn 1? That's Carl Hardy. I'm not sure what actually happened there. Where did it all start? Because it was just a big mess. Jacobs is around. Same position as the previous race. No, you need to find a reverse. Yeah, it's Michael Barrick in the Ferrari. And that's a bad position. I believe this might be the pretty much the same weather as the previous session, so I don't think there's any huge difference that drivers would have to get used to, but maybe the guys were making some setup changes between the races and that didn't quite work out. And battle for, no, that is Carl Hardy just running wide, or maybe staying halfway, and it's Michael Barrick. No, but I think we will see the battle between Hartley and Danes. And this time it won't be as easy as in the first race for the Danes. And now he's definitely gonna have to fight for it if he wants to get the win in this one as well. Yeah, I'm just noticing that the first race we had timed race, it was 20 minutes, and this one is laps. So my understanding that this should be timed race as well. Okay. Yeah, Dane's very close to getting slowed down there. Was just able to avoid it, but that cost him some speed on straight. Yeah, Cullinan really up to speed, and oh, that is a pretty aggressive block from Henny. But it doesn't really put up much defense here. And that is Cullinan pass for the big place. Yeah, if he can keep up with this pace, he should be able to just about keep it, because he's running like low 2 minute 15s, and while Rob Hartley is able to get into 1 minute 14s, it's still not that easy to overtake here, especially when the speed difference between these two guys is not that huge. What do we have here? There's some battles going behind, but that might be just guys letting each other by with their broken cars. And Danny Henny got attacked by Warringham here. Well, from what we've heard is that Ferrari just doesn't have the grip in the corners. I could be wrong, I'm not really expert with the Ferrari. I usually prefer to stick with the GTEs, and in there I just like the Ford GTE, but it seems like Foreign is just all over Henry. Sorry to interrupt you, but it seems like we have some audio issue because the viewers are saying they cannot hear you. That would have been good to know before. Just a moment, let me see if I can fix that. Okay, let's try it again. Interesting, now I cannot hear you. So just give me a moment, I will try to fix this. Okay, let's see, can we hear you now?
Well, we'll try, and hopefully you can hear me now, all of you at home. Well, not at home perhaps, but all of you watching along.
Okay, now we can hear. Now there's be able to hear.
I guess.
That would have been good to know beforehand.
I think we were told the other day, actually, I think last Sunday, how the race is actually better without any commentary, which we didn't take personally or anything, but I think that may have been Michael Avdoko, he said that, just going to point you up there, Michael, but hopefully it will be slightly better now that I'm back, but still, Lee Diemer was lost 8/10 on that lap to Rob Hartley. Gap is 4 seconds. Sorry, not 4 seconds, 2 seconds. It seems as though he might be a sitting duck, but if you were Diemer, would you try to just hold on to the second place because Danes isn't too far behind either, or does he just have to go for the race victory here?
I mean, you got almost the 2-second gap and only a few laps to go, so why not definitely fight for the win. I mean, he's not really in a huge danger to fall into third place battle with Chris Danes, so even if he maybe has to be aggressive, lose some time with the defense, he's still guaranteed to second place, as long as there's no major mistakes.
Well, we'll see what the time difference is this time. Diemer sets a 2 minutes 14.75, strong lap from Diemer. That's a really good effort from him. Hartley at 2 minutes 14.64, so only a tenth faster. And if Diemer can keep on pumping in laps like that, he might just be safe. But Rob Hartley, of course, went from 16th to 6th, a little bit under the radar. We don't really appreciate how fast he was in that last race, but had a terrific drive. And now looking for the race victory. Luke Clark just sitting in behind Rich Warmingham. Clark's just sitting in behind Chris Danes.
Yes.
Yeah, so also a bit surprised that Danes can't pull away. Clark really struggled in the first race. I think he got caught up in some incidents early on, and I think came home in a bit of a boring 9th place. And I was thinking why he was so far off the pace, but he's right back onto the pace now. And looking really strong out there. Lane O'Connor also right on the tail of Danny Henney.
No, that is in fact Danny Henney is making a pass on Lane O'Connor. Let's see.
Oh wow, okay. So I guess O'Connor made the move beforehand, and now Henney has just gone the move back. And you said how the Ferrari is struggling through the corners, but down the straights it looks extremely quick, but I'll say I think O'Connor might have him back any corner now.
Yeah, well, if you don't have the downforce in the corners, then at least you have the straight line speed.
Yes, absolutely. I must say that Ferrari looks so big. I don't know if it actually is kind of dimensionally bigger than all the other cars, but if you compare it to the BMW, it looks like an absolute beast out there. No wonder it's perhaps not quite so fast through the corners, but Henney is still Henny's still really under pressure from O'Connor. Haven't seen anyone go for the move into Blanchimont. Maybe we'll see it this time. He's right on the tail. A little bit of defence from Henny. That was good car positioning. Just held the middle of the track so that the Mercedes couldn't take the inside. And again, we've seen this throughout today, Sam. Drivers just really struggle to follow through Blanchimont, don't they?
Oh, and that is very aggressive over the cross by Harry. And
oh,
we might have lost
and
him.
He's gone. Yep.
Did he get
It's disappointing
disqualified?
to see. No, I don't think there's an instant limit. No, no instant limit. So it must have been connection.
So he hit the curb so hard, his connection dropped out.
Yeah. Hartley was a second faster on that lap than Lee Diemer, and he's now right on the tail. What lap is it? Sorry, Sam, I can't see from where I am.
This is 8th lap, so
Oh,
second
okay.
to last. There's one more after this one. So as far as I can tell, Lee Diemer, he has been able to really maintain that gap, and if he can just hold on to it, he should be able to go for the win here. But Rob
Well, we
Hartley,
haven't
he's
seen-
really closing in on these straights.
Yeah, he is a lot faster. We haven't seen overtaking aplenty so far. Seems to really be the main overtaking spot at the end of the Kemmel Straight, and that everywhere else seems to be very difficult for these drivers. Rob Hartley found it easy, I think, everywhere in race 1, so he's the one who's going to pull off the move if anyone is. Danes is still under a bit of pressure from Clark. Clark about 6/10 behind at the moment, but not really looking like he's going to make any move anytime soon. And really the only other batsman is Flanagan under a bit of pressure from Jacobson, but apart from that, it's all pretty civil out there, and look to be closing out to the race. But out in the lead, it's not closing out whatsoever, because Diemer has got to nail every apex here. And Sam, who would you say kind of looks the stronger? Would you rather have track position or a pace advantage, as Hartley does?
Track position every time, because even if you are, let's say, few times faster, you're not gonna get the position unless you make the overtake. And defending is much easier than making the move. Although here comes Hartley, he's looking for it, but I don't think he would go side by side here.
No, if anything, this is a disadvantage for Hartley, because he's going to struggle to get the momentum over the hill, and he can pull out of the slipstream, but he's not going to really have the overspeed. But he's still right in the slipstream. Goes to the outside, defence from Diemer. They're side by side, coming down the Kemmel Straight. It's going to be who's later on the books. We haven't seen any around the outside moves here, and we're not going to see it this time round. And if anything, Diemer got the slightly better run. That was great car positioning, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was great, and it seemed like Hartley was not able to really, or not willing to take too many risks there, because he knows he has plenty of opportunities here, and seems to have the slight speed advantage. So I don't. Oh, that is leading slightly off the wide there. Yeah, off the line.
Oh, he's got to defend surely Diemer, because I thought Hartley might make a move there. It's not really a braking zone into Pouan. It's all about kind of bringing the speed through the corner. Gainey's close. This is where he can maybe have a little bit of an attempt. Maybe look to see if he can make the move down here. He's a little bit too far behind. He can go for a lunge down into this one, but I think he's going to have to just line it up for Blanchimont.
I think he's better off just waiting for it and getting a good run here, and then inside line into the chicane.
It's a decent run. It's going to have to be summed up. We saw a brilliant end of race 2 at Imola a couple of weeks ago, and I wonder if we're going to see the same thing here. Diemer holding on still. Will he go defensive into the final chicane? He doesn't, but I think he's going to be safe anyway. A little bit deep on the brakes from Hartley, but I think it's going to be Diemer to take the checker flag as long as he can get it out of the final corner. They've both messed up the exit, but Diemer wins it. Great drive from him, superb. And Hartley comes home in second place. Chris Danes will hold off Luke Clark for third place. Ralph Cullinan just about holds off Richard Warmingham. He was charging near the end of that one. Lane O'Connor, I think, will beat Max Wright, Jim Flanagan, and Anthony Jacobson. Jacobson still going at it, but Jacobson hasn't been able to make the move so far. Flanagan's got a lot of damage. A little bit of damage on Jacobson's car as well. He's not going to go for a dive here. He has a bit of a look, but I think he admits defeat there, and Flanagan will take home that 9th position. What a drive there from Lee Deemer, Sam. That was, I must admit, I didn't think he had a chance to hold off Rob Hartley, but he defended superbly, didn't he?
Yeah, it was a great drive from Deemer and great defense. We saw that Hartley was almost close enough to make the move, but just didn't have enough grip through the fast kink, and just wasn't close enough to make the move into the final chicane. So that was a great defense by Deemer all over the final lap. And also kind of surprised that Chris Danes, he really came through the field. That is 11 position gains for Chris Danes, but he was not able to keep up with Rob Hartley.
Yeah, I was surprised by that, because Danes looked so confident in the first race, and I must say I thought he was not necessarily holding something back, but I thought he did have a little bit more when push came to the shove, just because he wasn't challenged in that first race and he got pole position so comfortably. And like he said, he really couldn't challenge, and in the end was under pressure from Luke Clark, whose performance shouldn't be underrated. Really strong from him to come home in P4. And just seeing Michael Gray come across the line, not the race he wanted, got caught up in an incident in the bus stop, and from then on it was a difficult run for him. But I think that's everyone across the line, isn't it? So we can take you through the results. Lee Deemer takes the win, another pole to race victory out there, just as we saw in the first race. Rob Hartley in second place, good effort from him, just couldn't quite make the move in those final couple of laps. Chris Danes in third position, another solid points for him, a first and third so far for him today. Luke Clark, much stronger performance from him, he was really quick out there in fourth. Ralph Cullinan comes home in fifth. Richard Warmingham was on a charge at the end, couldn't really make up any positions in the end in sixth. Lane O'Connor in seventh, Max Wright 8th, Jim Flanagan and Anthony Jacobson were close throughout. They finished in 9th and 10th. John Watson, a little bit of a disappointing race again for him, but he started so low down in 16th. He struggled to make too much of an impact. He comes home in 11th. Carl Hardy in 12th, David Ayres 13th, Mick Barry 14th, Michael Gray in 15th, and Danny Henney in 16th. We don't have a wheel for this race, do we, Sam? It's just
it's based on these results, the final race.
Yeah, so that will be a 35-minute third race. We hope to see you then in about 20 minutes time. So we wait to see you then.
And this time with both audios.
Yes, we hope.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Apex Racing TV and the BSR IMSA Grand Tour. I am back, Sam Fitzpatrick, with Sam Kumo, who's also on the cameras, and we have the third race of the evening, probably of round 7 of this championship. And on pole position, we've got Lee Diemer, followed by Rob Hartley, Chris Daines, Luke Clark in 4th, Ralph Cullinan 5th, Rich Warmingham 6th, Lane O'Connor 7th, Max Wright 8th, Jim Flanagan 9th, Anthony Jacobson in 10th, John Watson 11th, Carl Hardy 12th, David Ayres 13th, Mick Barry 14th, Michael Gray, he's out of position in 15th, Danny Henney in 16th, and Kip Stevens joining us for this final race. Sam, it's a rolling start here. It's difficult to tell whether this is going to cause more issues down into the first corner or less.
Well, you never really know. I think the first chicane will be sorting the guys out. I think like the starts so far this evening have been very clean, so I not expect any major issues here. Yeah, looking through the field, we only have Kip Stevens as a new driver here for this third race. Jim Flanagan has some slight connection issues there, but let's hope it doesn't cause any major trouble here.
Yeah, hopefully we won't see that. Lee Diemer will round them through the final chicane, and he needs a good start because Rob Hartley may have more pace, but here comes Diemer across the line, and it's a brilliant start from Diemer. Fantastic launch. Hartley being not too far ahead of Ralph Cullinan. What a start for Cullinan, from 5th on the grid up into P3, and a little bit of contact I think that may have been with Chris Daines. He hasn't got the start he needed. A Mercedes running wide in the background, but it's all pretty clean, and Cullinan on the attack already in that BMW. Started in 5th place, and he's looking right on the tail now of Rob Hartley. What a start from Diemer, and Hartley's a little bit wide, but I don't think this is going to be an issue for him down the straight. Luke Clark right on the tail of Chris Daines, and Daines not getting the start he needed because he should be fighting for the lead here, and instead he's defending against Clark. Clark on the outside just has to back out, and Sam, that was a brilliant start there from Ralph Cullinan from 5th on the grid.
Yeah, great start from Cullinan, exactly what he needed, the BMW. But unfortunately, Max Wright really has had a great start here. He's down 9 positions and currently running last. He believed that might have been because of a slowdown penalty. And especially on the first lap, those slowdowns are really going to be your lap time.
Yeah, not good at all for Max Wright. He's had a bit of a struggling day, really. I think he's got like a 9th and an 11th, so not really the day he wanted. Usually is fighting for kind of top 8s or so.
Oh, John Watson is around.
Yeah, John Watson around. And I don't know if that was something to do with contact we're about to see. Seems like he's dropped it on his set by himself because there was no cars really around him yet. He just went on that curve a little bit too long, and yeah, round he goes. And sorry, I think there's an issue for
Jim Flanagan. Oh, Hartley.
Sorry, no,
no.
I'm just messing up a little bit. I thought he may have had some connection issues or something. But he was just suddenly falling down. But yeah, who was that? You were saying he had issues?
That might be Jim Flanagan, but he is having issues with his connection.
Right, yeah, he is
seems
struggling
like
a little bit with
many
that.
drivers are having some connection issues right now, so I hope there is nothing wrong with the servers. That was very close. Who was that in the car? Hardy, very late braking there.
Yeah, I think Diemer might be under pressure from Hartley very soon. Or Diemer, why? That's not going to help him. You can get away with that, but he got on the AstroTurf and spun up the wheels, went nowhere, and a little bit of a threatening look there from Hartley. Up Eau Rouge we go. Oh, that's
and that
really
is slow down.
cut the circuit,
Has
isn't
to
it?
be slow down from Diemer. Yes.
Well, he's not lifting off yet, and well, he's letting. I think that might be a sign. Maybe he has got to slow down because he's just not defending whatsoever against Hartley. He takes the lead of the race. You know what? I think Diemer may have got away with that, and Hartley's gone a little bit deep. Can Diemer get the cutback here? And hasn't really got. Nah, he didn't quite get the drive through that, did he? And now Hartley's into the lead. there's a real chance that he can just run away with this one because he's had such good pace in race 2.
Yeah, this was really the repeat of the ending of the previous race. Their teamer was able to hold on to the position and win that one, but now small mistake through there, and Rob Hartley was easily by. Also looking down the field, we have plenty of battles going on. I think there's something going on with Kip Stevens, David Ayers and McBride. And we also have a battle for 4th place with Colin and Clark and Warmington.
Yeah, Stevens with a decent start actually, up 4 positions from last on the grid, up to 13th, and there's a spinner just ahead, and
that
Stevens
is Michael
nearly...
Barry.
Oh, again! Oh, Michael is not having the day he wanted. That's 3 spins now in just 2 races. Max Wright, I think, overtaking Gray there. So Stevens got away from that one, I think, losing position to David Ayres, I believe. Yeah, Ayres, I think, managed to gain a couple of positions in that. Stevens still in 13th, and actually on the tail now, Ayres. Good, decent run through Blanchemont. Not going to be in range for the bus stop, I think, unless it's a really deep move down the inside. Thought he may have misjudged his braking zone there, did Stevens, but he got away with it. And Gray should be right on these guys because Gray was super fast in the first race, wasn't he?
Yeah, Gray had some issues with the brakings. We saw him locking up the bronze, especially in these lower corners. Let's see. No issues this time around, so maybe he has fixed the issue with the brake bias. Oh, and what has happened here? I see someone losing a lot of time. That is...
Oh, Gaines.
Yes.
Oh, he's got another slowdown. He's going to be under pressure here from Luke Clark. Clark goes to the inside. Who else is going to get past? Is it Richard Warmingham now going to the inside? It's terrible for Chris Daines. Today has just kind of gone from, well, as high as it can possibly go with that easy race 1 victory, and I thought he may have made a little bit of contact there with Warmingham. Warmingham going defensive. And Daines still looking to the inside, but not quite. Another slowdown. He got a slowdown in race 2, didn't he? He's really got to rethink his line through there, doesn't he?
Yeah, he was great in the race 1, but now it seems like the frustration is kicking in, getting the slowdown and then being very aggressive, trying to defend and get those positions back. But now he just needs to relax, get the positions, find a good way to get by.
Well, the race victory is now a long way away from Chris Daines. He's quite a bit behind now. The race leader of Lee Diemer, he's edging out in the lead. I'll say what? Lee Diemer's in the lead. What happened to Rob Hartley?
I believe he might have gone off the track. Let's see. Replay on your screen.
So he was under pressure and goes, oh wow. Okay, lost the rear end, did well actually to hold that one. He was really under pressure from Diemer. I'm surprised Diemer was able to stay that close. And you know what? That pressure from Diemer was the difference. And Hartley's got to do it all over again. We saw how difficult it was to overtake in race 2. Got the job done early on in this race. Do not too much defense from Diemer. And he's kind of had to do it all over again. Ralph Cullinan still a strong 3rd position. But Luke Clark closing in just behind. Jim Flanagan still with some connection issues out there. He's dropping in and out, and well, fortunately he's not looking like he's going to go for any moves anytime soon, but I really hope that's not some kind of issue. Chris Daines still close though to Richard Warmingham. Oh, sorry, I thought that was a car going straight on at Eau Rouge there. I don't know if that's the connection for Flanagan again, but here comes Daines. And here comes Warmingham as well on Clark. Clark not defending too much. And down the inside he goes. Daines trying to get involved. Not quite, but Warmingham has looked really strong in race 1. And he's looking strong getting it down the inside. Oh, that can't work, can it? I think it may just get the inside here, but Clark is deep on the brakes. Can he hold the rear end? Oh, I think they're scraping each other through there. And just about Clark holds on. Why did Clark miss that apex so much to give Daines the opportunity?
There was really no room given there, and it just very risk moves there. And I think Daines, he's definitely getting frustrated. And If he can just get a good run on one of these straights, he should be able to make the pass. I mean, he has the pace for it, but now he's just costing himself time by doing these half attempts, really.
Yeah, and these drivers he's trying to overtake Warmingham's in good form today. Clark had a really good race too, so he's in good form today. Clark was actually holding on to Danes at the end of the last race and nearly went for the overtake, so he's going to be a tricky customer. And Cullinan still looking strong in third, just keeping out of the way of this fast lane. Really good job from him. Clark's actually dropped off quite a bit from Warmingham. And I wonder if Dane's still looking for the move, isn't he? He's so aggressive out there. And now he's going to try to get the cut back. Oh, he's got a great run. Clark onto the AstroTurf. He's got a bad run there, but he's got the inside line crucially for turn one. Maybe Danes can go for a little bit of a dummy. Go to the inside, but no chance through there. Oh, he tries to turn in. He's going to try to go all the way around the outside. They're going to be side by side here. Not quite. He gets a bit of a wiggle on, and he's going to have to sit in behind, going into Eau Rouge, unless he's super brave slash stupid, I would say. But he's still right on the tail. Oh my goodness, he's not leaving any leeway, is he?
No, that was really close, and he wasn't really able to even see the line where it was going, so... Well, it paid off, and now he's alongside.
Oh, this could be a strong move from Danes. That's a great move. That's what he will be. That's what we need to see from him a little bit more. Does we need from Danes, because he's got the pace, and that type of racecraft shows that he can get the moves done. Clark looking for a way back. I think that may have been O'Connor going for the move on Flanagan down the Camel Straight as well. I think they may have just swapped positions. O'Connor looking pretty strong as well. And now Danes can go hunt for Warmingham, who's closed in by 1.3 seconds on the last lap on Cullinan, and now is right on the tail. Demon's not too clear of Hartley still, as you would expect. I think Hartley's going to have a go at him in the next few laps, but still Warmingham trying to put that pressure on Cullinan. Warmingham's looked so good in the first race, didn't he? And personally, I've never seen him this competitive, I think, ever.
Yes, but look at the lap times right now. Suddenly, everyone is running in the 2 minutes 14 except Cullinan. So he's really in danger of falling back, maybe even outside top 5, unless he's able to pick up his pace.
A little bit wide for Warmingham just behind. Cullinan taking a slightly different line. I don't think that was defensive necessarily. He just took a slightly tighter line there. That BMW does look very nimble around the circuit. He's looked quick down the straights, hasn't he, so far today, Cullinan? You wouldn't expect that from the BMW, but I wonder if he's just taken all the downforce of that car just to give him a chance down the straights. And I think that's Hartley looking really close on Dima, and you know what, I think Hartley might have a chance going down the Camel Straight. Here he is, right on the tail, a little bit over the, I bet that not be a slowdown for Dima.
I think he's fine.
Yeah, well, after earlier I thought he got it as well, but got away with it, and it was such a good run. In fact, he had it so fine that there was no chance for Hartley to take the lead. I don't think Warmingham's going to get Cullinan this time round the Camel Straight. He's just going to have to sit in behind, but in fact just behind as well. Dane's not dropping Clark, is he? He just cannot catch a break so far. Clark is just being a really annoying pest to him today, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, all of these guys, Danes, Clark, Connor and Flanagan, they pretty much stuck together here. It seems like once you are able to stay in the draft, you can just hang on, and Danes just isn't able to run away from Clark.
Yeah, maybe that's the slipstream effect playing its part, but Clark's just so strong whenever he seems to drop behind things. He seems to all of a sudden kind of gain half a second and really start bothering Chris. And that's a big slide for Clark as we ride on board with him. Not quite flat out through this one. I think in qualifying they may have been close to going flat through there, but not in race trim. and he's way too far back from Danes to have a thought of a move. Cullinan's actually really under pressure from Warmingham, actually. And Warmingham, will he go for the move here? Not quite. It's going to be down the Kemmel Straight, isn't it, I think, for Warmingham. He's just got to get that run to Eau Rouge.
Yeah, but like we can already see Cullinan taking a little bit of defensive line to the corners now, but both ends not close enough to make a move here, but I think Warmingham might be just preparing to get a good run here.
Oh, Chris Dane's got an issue, big issue. For Chris Danes, I don't know what's happened to him. Maybe it's a connection issue. You were saying earlier about issues with the connection for drivers. We're watching him now.
He has just entered the pit lane.
So that's just his pit stop. Very over dramatic from myself, but yeah, Dane's into the pits and will be back out again.
And we have for the third.
Cullinan holding on against Warmingham. That's a terrific battle out there, these two. And Cullinan just about holding on. They don't want to lose each other too much time, do they? Otherwise, O'Connor and Flanagan are going to be involved. Let's see the replay. Warmingham was close. I think he thought he could maybe get... Yeah, he thought he could get it done on the outside, but thought better of it midway through the corner, just to let Cullinan stay ahead. Hartley's still close to Dima. He's closed that gap back in again. But I'm surprised by Dima's pace, actually, because he's looking really strong there. Almost a match to Hartley, I'd say.
Yes, and in some sense, I think Hartley is not quite able to run the lap times in the dirt here, so perhaps there are some difference in the setups. As we saw that, was it Chris Danes? He was great in the clean air when running in front, but as soon as he was in the traffic, he just couldn't get the lap times in. He couldn't really find the pace to make those moves.
Yeah, it's a good point, because around a circuit like this where you've got two extremely long kind of flat out sections, we've seen relatively little overtaking, or at least very difficult overtaking compared to the places we've been recently, like Imola, for example, or Watkins Glen, I think, as well. We saw a lot of overtaking, but not too much overtaking out there. Hartley still close, 7/10 of a second. He was just over a tenth past on that lap. Warmingham looking threatening still, and then Clark, O'Connor and Flanagan very close. Do you think they've really got to work together now? Oh wow, and Stevens now going past Jacobson.
Yeah, that's Jacobson,
falling down the order.
Michael Gray right behind them.
Yeah, Gray coming through. I'm a bit disappointed with Gray's progress. Don't you think? I certainly expected him to make a little bit more progress, considering he got second in the first race.
Well, that is 4 positions gained so far for Gray, so considering the issues he had with the braking in the previous 2 races, so maybe just pacing himself, and at least he is still moving forward, but we'll see what happens after the pit stops. What do we have here? Battle going on again.
Just got past Cullinan, I think.
And Cullinan instantly fighting back.
Yeah, oh wow. Through corner, I don't think there's a portion of the track where Cullinan looks slow. He's really aggressive out there, really driving well. And do you think these two need to work together so that they don't kind of get caught by Chris Danes, because Danes made such an early pit stop?
I would say that you don't necessarily work together at this point, because you're still competing for the 3rd place, and it's really going to come down to, okay, maybe Cullinan can save some fuel and do the overtake during the pit stop phase. I'm not actually sure how the fuel strategy goes between the Mercedes and BMW, but well, to me it sounds like the Mercedes would maybe have to do it one lap earlier. But we'll see.
Yeah, I think another driver who might be saving fuel is Rob Hartley in 2nd place, because he's constantly... Oh, they're both into pits.
Into pits.
Oh, wow. So this is going to be interesting. So we wonder, maybe Hartley has saved a little bit of fuel, and if he can just put maybe 2 less litres of fuel in, that could be the difference between race victory here. These two coming in, don't think really anyone else is joining them in the pits, and they're going to become stationary here. Hartley, a little bit further down the pit lane, I think. No, he's just before, so his pit box isn't blocked by the other driver. And let's see who gets out first. So they're both stationary.
Yeah, that's the lead teamer in front and Hartley behind him. So let's see what happens here.
Taking tyres for oh, and not taking tyres there for
Rob Hartley. Oh, but that might be unsafe
Dima.
exit.
Oh yeah, maybe.
He did cross the line.
Is Dima out to the pits now? Oh my
No,
goodness, why
he's
is he
still in the
taking
pits.
tyres? We
might have
don't
been
usually
mistake.
see... yeah, maybe, but I would have thought he quickly just unclicked the tyres. He's lost so much time there as lead teamer. His pit stop loss was 1 minute 12 compared to Hartley's 47.7. He's lost so much time there. So you think that was a mistake, you reckon?
Yeah, I think so, because maybe he just forgot to unclick the tires. That sometimes happens. I really don't see any reason why you would take the tires in a 35-minute race, because that's about less than one full stint.
Yes, it's disappointing to see because he was so competitive out there, but yeah, gonna struggle to make up many positions now. He's way behind Chris Danes, by the way, and yeah, behind Mick Barry as well. So gonna be a long road back now for Lee Dima. I think a top 8 would be a good effort from him, but Warmingham still just holding off Cullinan, and Clark not too far clear of O'Connor either. We'll see if they pit this time round. I reckon they might do. Warmingham into the pits. Is Cullinan into the pits? Yes, he is. Clark, maybe? Clark, I think, stayed out. So did O'Connor, so did Flanagan. So that trio are still going. And it'll be interesting actually to see where Warmingham and Cullinan come out in comparison to Danes, because they were fighting Danes just before the pit stops.
Yeah, and definitely Lee Deemer might come out behind them, because that was just he lost about 30 seconds almost. So definitely Lee Deemer is going to be losing positions here.
Still,
see, Warmingham is coming out. He is first.
He's ahead of Hartley.
Yeah, Hartley here
Wow.
in the battles with. Is that
Ayres?
Yeah, that is Ayres in the
Yeah.
red Mercedes. Yes, Ayres has not made his pit stop yet, and seems to be keen away.
So Warmingham has somehow managed to take a much shorter... He saved 8 seconds compared to Hartley. I don't know what he's done there. He's the only driver to have done a sub 44 second pit stop, and he's done 39 seconds. Absolutely incredible for Richard Warmingham. Do you think that's fuel, or what's on earth he's done? Because why haven't they all done this?
I think that has to be fuel. He is running much lighter than everyone else. Normally you do have a few seconds here and there that can just happen in the pit stop. You may lose a second or two or 10 seconds or two, but not 8 seconds. That is definitely something with the fuel.
So Hartley will have to close the gap behind them. Danes came out ahead of, or Cullen came out behind Danes by about 2 seconds. So that's quite important in that battle. Cullen actually lost it just with his pit stop time. He was 3.5 seconds slower than Danes, so that was the difference in the end. But Hartley's going to have to try to chase him down. Flanagan in now. Still, Clark and O'Connor carry on round. They must be really heavy on fuel, you'd think.
Yeah, or they are doing some heavy fuel saving. They've been running in the 1:16, so that is about second and a half at least of their maximum pace. So they may be just stretching this first end.
yeah, of course, a compulsory pit stop out there. And just Flanagan, where's he come out? And David Ayres pitted also. So Flanagan is behind Cullinan. Not a huge surprise there. Didn't have a slow pit stop, Flanagan, but it wasn't brilliant. But he's ahead of Lee Diemer. Just shows how slow Diemer's pit stop was when Diemer's still some 14 seconds behind. So yes, miles behind now for Lee Diemer after that long pit stop. Really, the battle we need to be watching out for in terms of the race victory is Rob Hartley versus Richard Warmingham. We haven't really got a representative lap time from the pair of them, but Warmingham, I wouldn't say he's really been caught so far by Hartley, not visually at least.
No, look at it, it's about 3.6 seconds right now. Hartley is closing slightly, but we have to just wait and see to get the first proper first proper lap here to see what the pace is.
Of course, we've seen Hartley struggle to make the move earlier on in race 2 on Lee Diemer, and he was struggling to make the move on Lee Diemer earlier on. So Warmingham's got to feel confident out there. Really gone from under the radar. Did not realise he had that under his sleeve, that significantly shorter pit stop. But yeah, seems to have really worked well, that strategy. Carl Hardy is into the pits now. Still Luke Clark and Lane O'Connor carry on round. Still very close to each other. They're not fighting each other too much. I think they realise that they really need to just set some good lap times. Unless maybe O'Connor might go for a move down the Kemmel Straight. They just did a 2-minute 15.1. Warmingham is about to cross the line, a 2-minute 15.4. So you know what? If they can do a similar pit stop to Richard Warmingham, they might come out maybe around kind of Warmingham Hartley.
I think they would be going behind Hartley and in front of Chris Danes. Yeah, looking at the lap times, Hartley is running 1 second faster than Warmingham, so I think Warmingham will have his hands full trying to defend that position.
Has Hartley made a mistake, sorry?
Yeah, what is
yeah,
happened
he's just
there?
lost a lot of time. Oh, maybe that was
It might be slow down. Let's see.
Oh wow! My goodness me! What, take a bow, Rob Hartley, because that was the save of the season, I think. But it may have just denied you a race victory. Oh my! We saw an instant earlier on, and how on earth did he save that?
That was some quick reflex there.
And the control, he didn't kind of... It wasn't full lock, I'd say, but he just got the right amount of lock just to make sure that he didn't spin round. Really good effort. And you know what? After that mistake, Luke Clark, who we're watching now, and Lane O'Connor, if they can get maybe a sub kind of 40-second pit stop loss time, they might be there or thereabouts. We've got about 8 more minutes to go in this event. Luke Clark comes up to the final chicane. Will he pit this time? Yes, he will. Will Lane O'Connor pit? Yes, he will. So that was clearly as far as the fuel went. I think they were on full tanks, maybe saved a bit of fuel as well, but this will be fascinating now. This, can they get ahead of Hartley? Can they get ahead of Danes? Either one would be a success, I think.
Yeah, Hartley was 25 seconds behind them, so I really suspect that maybe they might even lose to Chris Danes here, because we are seeing about maybe 30 second, 35 second pit stop, considering the amount of fuel they have to take.
Well, Warmingham's already passed comfortably.
Okay, here comes Kalayan.
So Clark is out ahead of Danes. Oh, it's side by side. Clark, he's not ahead of Danes anymore. Danes straight through. And now he's got to get the slipstream up the hill. These two were neck and neck earlier on before the pit stop. Nothing has changed. Clark right in the slipstream now. right behind that multicoloured Christine's car, and he's just going to have to sit in behind and wait for an opportunity. Judging by how quick Clark's been, I don't think he's going to let Danes go.
He just needs to get a few corners to get used to the fuel load and then push for the attack. Lane O'Connor, he had a really slow pit stop. That was 57 seconds. That is one of the slowest we've seen.
Oh, and he's going for a move now. That's I say Lee Dima. These two whose races have been ruined by pit stops were running in well, Dima was running in the lead at one point, Connor was running at about 6th, and now they're fighting each other for 10th and 11th. Could remain higher though when everyone's made their pit stop. Still got Jim Flanagan and Michael Gray, I believe, to still make pit stops, but
no, I believe they've done that. No, you're correct, yes. Michael Gray...
yeah, I'm not sure. What about Hardy? Because I think my time screen may have messed up Hardy.
Yeah, same. They have definitely done a pit stop, but they not seen their big time here. But everyone has made a pit stop by now.
Yeah, so this can be just about for
Oh, Denny Henne
oh,
has a small issue here, but is able to continue, loses one position.
so Demon and O'Connor, not the battle they'd want to be fighting in. They should be far further up the field, but instead they're fighting for the lowly positions, at least for them. Oh, Demon's wide. The Welsh driver, oh, but also wide is O'Connor. Missed the apex of that second. It's the second apex of that chicane, and has to wait behind still. Gap's about 5.5 tenths of a second. And I think he's just going to have to wait behind still. Rob Hartley was 9 tenths faster than Richard Warmingham on that last lap. The gap is back down below 3 seconds. But I don't know about you, Sam. With just, well, still got 5 more minutes to go. Don't think it's going to happen for him though.
We'll see. We saw some last lap moves in the previous 2 races, so I think anything can happen. Same goes for the... Well, there's 2 battles going on really right now. For the 12th place with Danes and Clark, and Connor is really close here for the 10th place in the top 10. But that's not really an overtaking position here. He's looking much stronger than Demon.
Yeah, Demon, considering how just secure he was in the second race and how strong he was in the start of this 3rd race, just seems to be a little bit, it just seems to be making a couple of mistakes out there. It's costing him badly in this battle, but they've got some 4.7 seconds to Kip Stevens, who pitted on the last lap, so not quite sure if they're going to be able to catch that one, but yeah, might be able to put some pressure on Kip by the end of the event. Rob Hartley's actually lost a bit of time to Richard Warmingham, I think, on this lap. Gap's at 4.4 seconds, so pretty comfortable right now for Warmingham. Oh, oh no!
Is he out of fuel?
Oh, he underfueled. We thought it was such a quick first pit stop, wasn't it? It was too good to be true. Oh, I'm so disappointed.
Yeah, that was the 8 seconds. Just no way to make it home with that amount of fuel.
I wonder if maybe it's one more lap than he thought. It's actually quite, let's see where he comes out. Might still be in a respectable position. He might actually be around Lee Dima, might he? Warmingham comes out. He's ahead of Dima. That's it's quite incredible how slow Dima's pit stop was earlier on, isn't it? For Warmingham to remain ahead, this could be a great three-way battle actually between Warmingham, Dima and O'Connor, because they all had terrible pit stops. Gray is in as well. He's had a very frustrating 3rd race, starting low down, and he's clearly underfueled as well. So,
no, and
and
seems
side by
like
side.
Yeah, side by side between Ace and McBride. but it also seems like Ray might be in repairs because his car was on the jack stands and I don't think he's going to need new tires, so that might be just repairs or something else. Oh, and getting loose there for Max Wright.
I didn't actually see the impact or the mistake from Wright, but yeah, just straight into the back went Ayres, and Wright's had a difficult day, I think it's fair to say. Just been caught up in too many kind of first lap incidents, and he's running around in 13th position currently. Really, the closest battle is this one, and Richard Warmingham and Lee Diemer still pretty close up there. Lane O'Connor's actually dropped off ever so slightly. In fact, yeah, he's dropped off ever so slightly, and now Diemer trying to salvage something from this race. What could have been really for him, but not going to turn out to be a great result, I think, for him. But he's got a chance against Warmingham. They're not going to catch Kip Stevens, I believe, but maybe. How much will Diemer want this? Just for pride more than anything else.
I mean, you obviously go for it because Diemer is faster. Warmingham makes small mistake under brake. We've seen the issues with the braking he has had for all evening, and this will be the final lap. We got about 5 seconds remaining on the clock, and Rob Hartley has started his final lap. Oh, what's happened here? I'm seeing...
Oh, side by side.
Clark. That might be slowdown for Luke Clark, was it?
Yeah, I think it may well have been. Clark behind Cullinan now. Cullinan back up into P3. Must say he's been one of my drivers of the day overall, and especially in this third race. After that brilliant start from 5th to 3rd on the grid. Flanagan just running a little bit wide in the background as well, still with those connection issues, but to give credit to him, he's done well just to stay out of trouble and have good pit stops, I think.
Yeah, Team Flanagan's connection really dropping out. We're not seeing it on the track at the moment.
Diemer couldn't make the move on Warmingham, so he's still sitting in behind there. I must say, it's not really any opening available, I think, for him at the moment, Diemer. Haven't seen any overtakes really in this part of the circuit all day from anyone. And like he said earlier on, final lap, so he's running out of corners to do it. But out in front, Rob Hartley is miles out clear. He's 5.5 seconds clear. In fact, ahead of Chris Daines, who's, to be fair, recovered well, but Rob Hartley hasn't won a race so far. 16th to 6th in the first race, and then 11th to 2nd in the second. And here comes Rob Hartley across the line to take the race to victory. Superb performance from him. Chris Daines, good performance from him after that frustration early on. Good damage recovery in second. Cullinan beats Clark across the line. Clark, we think, got a slowdown late on. And Jim Flanagan will finish in 5th, or will he? Right behind him is Carl Hardy, but he can't quite make it stick. Diemer, I think, is going to finish behind Warmingham, so couldn't make the move there. Stevens in 7th position. Sam, that was, I really thought Warmingham might have that with the strategy, but you got to say, overall, I think Hartley deserved that one on purely just with his raw pace.
Yeah, that was good pace, and those pit stops, as it has been for the pretty much every single round, plenty of drama, and whatever we thought might happen before the pit stops, it just throw it all out of the window. Extra pit stops for Warmingham, and I believe it was Michael Gray.
Yeah, it'd be fascinating to know why Warmingham put so little fuel into that first stop, because we were saying how he was some 8 seconds faster than his rivals, and it seemed destined really to be under fuel, but I thought he may have it all under control. He had the race under control, but like you said, that under fueling has cost him poorly. McBarry is about to come across the line. He's had a turbulent second and third races. He will at least manage to cross the line in 16th position. And I think we can now take you through the final standings of that race day. Rob Hartley takes the race victory. Brilliant drive from him from second on the grid. Chris Daines comes home in second after that frustration early on, but to be fair to him, had a good pit stop, an early pit stop, and he really made that undercut work for him. Val Cullinan, really good drive from him, to be fair. Had good pace throughout, had a brilliant start as well. He finishes on the third step of the podium. Luke Clark comes home in fourth. Jim Flanagan fifth, despite those connection issues. Carl Hardy, really didn't speak about him throughout the race, but really good job from him from 12th to 6th. Kip Stevens came home in 7th from last on the grid. Good drive from him. Richard Warmingham, well, maybe he was a lap of fuel away from victory, but he comes home in 8th place after that extra pit stop. Lee Deemer, the pole sitter, managed to lost the lead early on, managed to retake it, but that long pit stop where he took tyres did not work for him whatsoever. He comes out in 9th. Lane O'Connor, he had a long pit stop, maybe could have got a top 5 if it weren't for that. He finishes in 10th. Anthony Jacobson, he got caught up in all kinds of issues today, but to be fair to him, still a solid result in 11th. Danny Henney got involved in a first lap collision in 12th. Max Wright, not the day he wanted, started 8th, finishing in 13th. David Ayres in 14th. Michael Gray, after that great first race, the second and third races went very wrong for him in 15th. Mick Barry in the Ferrari started 14th, finishes 16th. And John Watson, a really bad day for him as well. Also caught up in many first lap collisions. He finishes 8 laps down in 17th position. We are hoping to get a couple of interviews, but there's no one around, so we'll just give it a minute. And Sam, next up is Brands Hatch, and in these cars it's going to be a really big challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's maybe not so much about the top end speed, but it is still a very fast track, and we might see maybe a bit more even between the cars and not so Mercedes dominant here. And maybe Colin can show what that BMW can do through those fast corners on the midsection.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see that kind of BMW become a little bit more prominent. Ralph Cullinan can get a third place around here. I think it's going to be a big threat for the victory in 1 week time. I think we're going to wrap it up there, and we will see you at Brands Hatch for round 8 of the BSR IMSA Grand Tour next Sunday at the same time.